Hi, everybody. Welcome to NorCal Slot Car Scene. I recently sat down with Eric Coleman of Bauer Originals, and he discussed the complete line of Bauer HO cars and chassis. I think you'll enjoy what he has to say. So thanks for watching, and here's the video. Eric, welcome to NorCal Slot Car Scene.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good.
Now you're located in New York, correct?
Yes, upstate New York.
Okay, and why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself and what your role or your title is with Bauer?
Um, Basically, I handle a lot of all the Facebook promotions, advertisements, do some R&D for them. I do the shipping. I'm part of the team member. We're consulting with new vehicles, new models, upcoming models, anything involved with the product we produce.
Eric was kind enough to send me a couple samples of the product. You see in my background, the Dodge Charger, which is, I've seen Bauer cars for quite a while, but this is the first one I've actually had, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I took them to the track last night. People were just like, wow, we've never seen detail on an HO car like that.
Nice. Glad to hear that.
So how did you get started in slot cars?
Um, Actually, my father was a big train guy. So he basically brought me and my brothers slack car tracks so we'd stay away from his trains. So,
Get your
and
own
I
hobby
just,
kind of thing, yeah.
and that started way back in the 70s, probably 69, 70s. I got my first track and I kept them from all those years. I kept a lot of my cars and they all still part of my collection, actually.
So are you there's a couple factions in HO racing, and neither is good or bad or better or worse than the other. There's collectors, there's racers, and there's some that do both. Are you a little bit of both, or more of the collecting with the really nice scale looking cars?
I'm probably more into collecting. I do race the Viper scale type cars. Not much anymore. COVID hit, and then everything kind of went sideways from there with me racing. But I haven't raced probably in 3 years, actually.
So, so how did you get involved with Bauer?
I have a German friend, and I started collecting Bauers, and then I started like one of the guys that actually ran the cars on the track. And then I was like, I'm paying a lot of money for these cars, and they're not working. And there was the tires are hard after all the years, and it was, pickups, the cars are very detailed. I would say 90% of the Germans or Europeans that buy Browers, they don't run them. They display cars, so he goes, well, you could talk to the owner about the issue you're having. So I spoke to the owner, Jurgen Miller, and then we became friends. And from that point on, I was like, the hobby is it's gonna die. It's either gonna move forward, but it's not gonna move forward if someone's paying $200 or 130 for cars and they can't go around the track. So from that point on, basically, I was tinkering with them and I was like, hey, you do this, do that. It's like, yeah, we could try this, try that. And that's how it started with me.
So I did notice that the car that I got, the Charger, is a TFX chassis, which they run.
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the things of trying to get a good chassis, something that you could pretty much take out the box and run it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
will say with the TFX cars, you do have to oil them. But
yeah, the
after
oil is
that,
the tricky part of those.
yeah, but it's a
Um,
pancake T-Jet style car. So if you're familiar with that, there's no problem at all. You know where to
yeah,
oil the
I
armature
think
and everything else.
I think the regular T Jets and AW are a little more forgiving with the oil.
Yeah,
That TFX, you put the oil on it, it'll run great. Then you have to wipe it all off, and then it's set. It's kind of odd. It's the tolerances are so tight on that um, it's not like a normal T Jet, in my opinion, where you could oil it and that thing will run. These you oil it, and then you have to. A little bit of oil goes a long way on that chassis. It
yes,
seems like.
but they run amazingly well. I did a
Yeah.
video on the TFX when they first came out, and we raced them regularly in Northern California with muscle car bodies. I'd hate to put this Charger on it because it looks so good. I don't want to mess it up, but it's a great class for us.
Yeah, yeah, the TFX is a great chassis. It's one of my favorites actually now.
Yeah, you have to come out and race with us because I'm familiar with Bauer from way back, and they make some just absolutely gorgeous cars like the Capri and the BMW CSL and the Porsche RSR, which, as far as I know, those are no longer available. They're out of production.
No, the Porsches, it depends on what color and what model. But we still, in fact, we had a well, the next Porsche is coming out. We had a BMW offered today. Um, but there's going to be different Porsches. They're still in our I would say inventory,
And
just different colors.
that's all on the B4 website.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into
Yeah.
that a little because I'm not sure how this happened, but it's under Bauer Originals, but the website says B4.
Yeah. What happened was we sort of changed the name of the company. So the company now is B4Slot, and Bauer is actually a division now. So we have a couple of divisions. We have the Bauer division that's going to be the traditional Bauer cars that everyone knows. Then we have the PS slot, and that's going to be the top of the line racing model cars with the TFX chassis with a clear coat, built very similar to the Vincent that you have there, which is the another line. The Vincent line is going to be American muscle cars.
And is the Vincent line the same Vincent that makes the wheels that we're familiar with?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you've taken
So he makes
that.
all our wheels are made through him. And it's just something that he has a passion for, American hot rod cars. So we collaborated with him, and that's the Vincent line. And then there's the American Hero line. That's going to be racing cars from the 60s and 70s. Basically, European cars. And those are going to be very unique, very with the racing stripes. Like the next one we have out is an NSU. A lot of Americans aren't familiar with that type of car.
I'm quite familiar with that. Yeah.
Oh, you are.
The NSU sedan. Yep.
So that one came out 2 days ago, and it's sold in about an hour.
Yeah. So there's the NSUs are really kind of cool little cars, those little mini car type things like
Yeah.
Mini Coopers and NSUs and so on. They're great.
Very popular in Europe, and I mean, our customers love them. We sold out. Like we had one that just came out, the TT, the turbo model. We have another one coming out also, so they're going to be in the inventory.
Are these? I think I'm correct, and these are made in a batch. Like when you do an NSU, you build X amount, and that's it.
Yes and no. The PS slots are limited.
Okay, so for that, you want to, if you see something you like, you want to buy it now because it may not be available in a few months.
Otherwise, you're going to be subject to the eBay prices of people
exactly.
who buy them.
Yeah,
and you're paying twice as much for them.
Well, they become like any other slot car. They become at some point they become collectible, and the way these look, it lends itself to that. These just don't become used cars; they become collectible.
Yeah. There's two ways to do it. We have what we call standing orders. So if you like a Bauer, you could put in a standing order, and you will get one car. Unless you put in two standing orders, you get two cars, and you don't have to order. And we will save, like when we come out with a batch of let's say we come out with a batch of NSUs, our standing order customers get their cars no matter what. They don't have to order them. Then the ones you see on the website are usually the ones that are left over after our standing order customers got theirs.
Okay, so you're kind of in an exclusive group. Then you get first crack at all the new stuff.
You get first crack, and then you also get our special model that we produce every year. Like this year, it's a Santa Claus Mercedes-Benz.
I saw that. Yep.
And that's only offered to our standing order customers. And then the ones who decide, no, I got too many cars, or I'm not interested in that, they don't want it, then we will offer it on the website.
So it sounds great. Like I said, I've seen the Bauer cars. I love the Capri because the Capri was my first car, the Capri RS. And there's quite a variety. They would make some great IROC sets if people want to race them. Obviously, a lot of people just want to collect them. But
we did come out with those in the TFX chassis also now.
I'll have to check that out. So, tell us a little about this new Slimline chassis.
Okay, that's the UL chassis. It's a can motor. They came right now. They're in production of two sizes. The one size is for the NSU model cars only, because that's such a small car in the real world, and we weren't able to produce that car with any chassis that are available. So we had to come up with a really small chassis to get the proportions correct for the NSU. So that was the main reason why we came out with that chassis, and it gives us more room for the interiors. And you know, we have a driver. That NSU has a full, like a steering wheel in it. But right now we're in production of the NSU wheelbase and the original T-Jet Aurora wheelbase, the short, and the long is coming out next month in January.
Yeah, I did notice that the traditional T-Jet guys knows there's two holes for the front axle. With this
Right.
chassis, you have to buy it either short or long. You can't just change.
Short or long. Actually, there's 3 holes in the T-Jet. We're not going to
there's
use
truck.
the center hole, which is the higher hole.
Yeah.
So, so we have the short, we have the NSU out, we have the short out. The long is out now in the Mercedes-Benz, the Christmas special, and they will be available for customers in January. And after that, probably February, March, we will do a Auto World replacement chassis.
I ran the chassis last night on just a dash body, and it runs very, very smooth. You can, it works very well. It's not, I would say, a super fast car, maybe not be a race car unless you race them together, but it's great to put stuff on. Like I sent you a picture. I have an MEV Lotus 11 that just looks terrible on a T-Jet chassis.
Right.
And it's perfect over this. So I'm going to be working. I'll have a video out on the Charger and this new chassis very shortly as well.
Yeah, that chassis is a lot of customized guys. They're gonna love it. It's it's a very maintenance-free chassis. You know.
Yeah, it's a can motor. There's not much to it. I mean,
no,
it's a good
a
thing.
lot of options. We're coming out with rims for. I mean, it's basically a T-Jet replacement. So any T-Jet rims and axles will work on it.
And what was crazy to me when I first pulled it out, it comes out in a little Matchbox type packaging. Which is at the top, because the top of the chassis is actually lower than the top of the tire. It's that short.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a whole new realm for T-Jet collectors and people that want to make cars that look scale.
Yeah, it gives the car a better look, especially with the older T-Jets. MEV, his cars will look great on those. It's just a option we offer.
Yeah, the other car I'm going to use is I have a Lotus Europa from MEV, and just like I said, it looks terrible on a T-Jet, not because of MEV, just because it sits so high because it has to. And I'll be able to drop this down quite a bit to make it look good. So, any other products coming out that you'd like to talk about, or anything?
Nothing. Just it's really you have to stay in touch with our Facebook. We're coming out for MGB convertible. I don't know if I let the cat out the beans, but
you did now.
No, we have a lot of interesting cars coming out. There's a Jägermeister, a BMW that's out today. I think it's already sold out. We're gonna have to increase our production because the customer's been so great. Like normally, the 91s in the PS slot line, they go as soon as we put them out there. So we're gonna have to bump up the production because.
So if you want something like this from any manufacturer or Bauer or anything else like in the slot car world, buy it now, because you may not be able to get it at a reasonable price in 3 or 4 months.
Wow. And we when I first started off with Bauer, there was a lot of issues going with collectors because I would show cars and then people were buying these cars on eBay, paying ridiculous prices and not realizing I'm not out of production, it's just out of stock.
Okay.
So if you go to our website, now we have on our website, we have a list of cars that are out of production. But some reason lost in translation, it will say out of stock, but it's under the category out of production. So any of those cars you see there will not be made again. But any other cars you see, if you could email us, you can email me. If you see a car on eBay and you're like, oh, it's a $300 car, you can email me and I'll say, hey, that car will be reproduced again. Just hold out a couple months and you get the car for $87, you know?
Yeah, you just mentioned $87. These cars are not cheap, but what you get, I think, is a good value. You know, you can buy Auto World cars for 30 bucks or whatever, but there's a difference. I mean, and it's
Yeah.
kind of obvious, especially once you get one and see it in person.
I try to tell people that. I mean, people say, oh, even top of the line cars that sell for like, depends what, you know, the exchange of the euro, but $112. That car is coming with an interior driver, Vincent wheels, Vincent rims. It's coming with metal, actually chrome grills, chrome bumpers. Some of them have mirrors. And you're not going to get that quality from the auto world. And the people who buy an auto world car, if you're fortunate enough to get it for $19, you know, if you want to upgrade it to the Vincent rims, you're going to add more money onto it.
Yeah, I mean, there's each of those have a niche. You know, the $20, $30 car, but this car in that price range, I don't think is out of the. I don't think it's overpriced. You
No,
get a value for
no,
what you pay for it.
yeah, and they are pretty much they are hand built.
Yeah, and you
And
see that in 30-second scale too. We have a lot of cars in the under 100, or most cars are in the under $100 range, but there's a lot of collectible cars that are in the $200-$300 range. So it's
right,
not unique to HO or anything.
it's just a lot of people don't like the scale, but it's not like an auto world when you get a Chevy Vega that's bigger than they're bigger than a you know a Camaro, something like that. The scale is not consistent.
Yeah,
Whereas you get our scale, our scales are true to the actual car. Like the Charger behind you is probably is the biggest car we ever made, and it's true to the scale of a real Charger if you compare it to something of the same year.
yeah, that was a full size car. It was not a small car.
It's not like you get an Auto World Vega and that's going to be bigger than the Charger.
Yeah, I mean, HO manufacturers have to take a few liberties because of the limited wheelbases available. But
Right.
I mean, you know, these things look great, like I said before. Um, so my other question was how to purchase, but we've kind of gone over that. So there's a website. There'll be links down below, and I'll insert some links when I edit this video, so you'll be able to find out where and how to purchase the Vincent products and the Bauer products and the under the B4 now label, if I got that correct. And there's a Facebook page and there's a website, and I
Yeah,
think
there's
you
a
told me.
Facebook page, Brower Originals on Facebook. I could be reached there. You can reach me at my page, Eric HO page. And between the two pages, you're going to get all the information you need, all the support you need from Bauer in the United States. I
Sounds good. So
handle it.
you're easy to contact.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So
And I usually post right before a model is released to give people a heads up. The ones who don't have standing orders.
yeah, the
That
other thing
hey,
that I was when I first contacted you is the website's out of Germany.
yes.
And I was a little hesitant to order, but then you mentioned that you order off the website, but they're shipped out of New York.
Yeah, certain items are I have in stock. So just makes it easier to supply the United States customers instead of having them pay the large shipping costs from Germany for a small item.
Yeah.
Because you know a small HO car gets lost between Germany and America. So I keep a stock on hand, except for the Vincent models. Those come straight from Germany, but you know we sort them out once they get here.
So it's
But
easy to purchase and get stuff shipped in the United
right.
States. Yeah.
So
So
don't let the German address deter you from ordering from us. And what happens most of the time, the website would default on the shipping, but once it leaves the warehouse here, you get credit back the amount. as opposed,
Okay.
you're not paying from Germany to your house. You're paying from New York basically to your house.
So even though the website's in Germany, it's easy to order
Right.
and get product shipped in the
Right.
United States. Great.
Yeah.
So, sounds
Yeah.
good. Well, I appreciate you coming on with us. And like I said, I've got a video on the Charger and that Slimline chassis coming up in the next few days. And
Okay.
I delayed it a little bit because I wanted to get over to friends of mine's. I hated to take a picture of the Charger just with a blank background. So a friend of mine you see in the background right now has just totally detailed track. So I did all these shots to make the car look good in a good background, a good scene, as
Right.
just taking a picture on a blank piece of track. So that's why
Yeah.
the delay for that. So Eric, thank you very much for
All
coming on.
right. Thank you for having me. Anytime, reach out.
Sounds good. And like you said, the links will be below, and he's easy to contact and easy to work with, and just an awesome product.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric, for coming on and giving us an overview of the Bauer and the B4 and the Vincent line of HO slot cars. They're absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on NorCal Slot Car Scene.